Good morning. The Committee on Parole is called to order. Today's date is April 13th. The time is 9:34. Members of the panel today are Ms. Pearl Wise, Ms. Bonnie Jackson. My name is Tony Marabella. I'll be acting as chair. Our remote location is Orleans Parish Prison. With the staff at Orleans Parish Prison, please introduce yourself.
Good morning, Parole Board. I am Deputy C. Tate, and I'm here with Mr. Terrell Weaver.
Thank you, Deputy Tate. Mr. Weaver, would you give us your full name and DOC number?
My full name is Terrell Weaver, 542-363.
Mr. Weaver, this morning we're going to have a revocation hearing. I'd like to explain our procedure to you. First, I'm going to cover your parole revocation questionnaire. Then I'm going to read the allegations to you that allege that you violated your parole. You'll then either enter pleas of guilty, not guilty, guilty with a statement, or not guilty with a statement. Then we'll have a full discussion of the allegations. You do have two people here today in support of you. Your friend, Donna Stevenson, and your attorney, Shannon Matthews, is here. Do you have your parole revocation questionnaire in front of you?
He wasn't provided a copy.
Okay, can we put that up on the screen for him? Mr. Terrell, do you see that revocation questionnaire there?
Yes, sir.
Is that your signature at the bottom?
Yes, sir.
The date is March the 10th of 2023.
Yes, sir.
Are those the answers to that questionnaire? Are they accurate still today?
Yes, sir.
You're represented by Shannon Matthews. You have an attorney, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you ready to proceed today with today's hearing?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I need to pull up another document so I can read the allegations. Mr. Terrell, on January the 21st of 2023, you did commit the act of domestic abuse, battery, and simple kidnapping. This is evident by your arrest by the New Orleans Police Department. The charges were refused by the District Attorney's Office on February the 3rd of 2023. How do you plead to the allegations of domestic abuse, battery, and simple kidnapping?
Not guilty.
You have made only 2 payments since being placed on parole, and you are currently $2,313 arrears. How do you plead to that allegation?
Guilty.
Your case has been assigned to Ms. Pearl Wise. Ms. Wise will begin questioning. Would you please answer any questions she might have?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Wise.
Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
How's it going?
I'm doing okay.
Good, good. Why are you in jail?
I'm in jail because me and Chardonnay do had a verbal altercation that turned physical.
Okay. So how did I saw the video? I just want you to know that off the top. How did you get blood and how did your lip get busted?
When I was holding her against my body, I was getting headbutted.
Oh, okay. Okay. And why would you hold her against your body?
Because I was driving a 2003 Tahoe when we was having a verbal altercation. When she answered the phone with the other guy and the other guy said that he knew me, like he knew me personally, I slammed on brakes, which caused her to hit her forehead on the dashboard. That's when all of the physical, it turned physical. So when it turned physical, I grabbed her while I was driving so I wouldn't wreck my little brother daddy's Tahoe. So in the process of me grabbing her, I pulled over and was holding her against my body. The police swung the corner and I hopped out the truck and went to them.
Okay. So when you were holding her in the car, y'all were seated in the vehicle actually.
Yeah,
okay.
we were sitting in the vehicle.
Oh, okay. Had you guys broken up or were y'all still in a relationship to your knowledge?
To my knowledge, we were in a relationship, but to her and the other guy, I was nowhere in the picture.
Oh, okay, okay. Did you already know that she was seeing somebody else?
Sort of, kind of, because it was like, shaky, you hear me? Like, it was questions that I asked her, like, let's go get us our own spot instead of being separate and all of that. So it was kind of shaking. I was starting to question it, and then, like, we was on our last end, so.
So yes, you kind of knew.
Yeah.
She hadn't said it. Okay, she hadn't said it. And you, because you told the officer that you, when you're on parole, you try to conduct yourself in a way that the police don't have to be called. When you agree with that?
Right, yes, ma'am. Because look, I had fish tanks in the house, and I had to call the police to get those fish tanks out of the house so it wouldn't be.
Let's go back to this incident. We're talking about this incident while you were in jail on this violation. That's the one we're talking about right now.
Yes, ma'am.
I understand that the DA's office dropped the charges, but I'm still trying to figure out what is your thinking of how you could have handled that matter in such a way that the police would not have to be called?
I should have exited myself from the equation.
How would you do? What would be a way to do that?
Ignore it. Just let it go. Let it go. That's the only other way I could see it. Let it go.
But like in that scenario, would you just stop the car and ask her to just get out? Since you talking to this other dude, y'all gonna have a good life. I
should have, you hear me? I should have. That should have been my first thought.
How old are you today?
I'm 32 today. I'll be 33 on the 24th.
Okay, you got a birthday coming. Okay. What's the nature of your contact with her since you've been in jail?
We don't conversate at all. No communication. I backed away from that situation 110%.
Oh, has she tried to call you?
No.
Have you tried to call her?
No, ma'am.
When you were talking to the officers, they gave you some advice on how to deal with relationships. Do you remember what they said?
Yeah, the light-skinned officer told me, next time, just walk away.
They said something else too about arguing and when is the appropriate time to argue. Do you remember what they said about that?
No, ma'am.
They mentioned that if you're going to be arguing with somebody, do it over the phone and not in person. You remember them saying that?
I don't remember that part, but.
Okay. I just had, thanks. I just thought that was go ahead.
I take heed to that now, though, you hear me? I gotta take heed to it because it's setting me back.
Are you working? Did you have a job when you was on the street?
Yes, ma'am. I worked at the Coppervine Wine and Pub on 1001 Padres in O'Keefe.
I saw in the narrative that you were definitely out hustling trying to find a job. You kept your officer aware of when you were looking for a job. I don't want to commend you for that. But employers need people who are going to make good decisions so they can show up at the time they're due at the job. That's what employers need. And that's going to entail you walking away for some things so you can meet your obligation to the job. I just want to mention that. If you were successful today and you were released, where would you live?
I would go by my mother's house, 3924 3rd Street.
Okay. And then you have to go back looking for a job?
Can you repeat the last part about the job?
You have to go back and look for a job.
No, ma'am. My job loved me.
Have you talked to them recently?
My manager, that was the manager at the time when I was working there, she's on paternity leave because she's about to have a baby. But I would go back, I would go to Mr. Kyle, the owner, if I was released today or tomorrow, and talk to him about getting my job back, because it's the French Quarter Festival weekend this week.
Okay, good. That's all I have. No.
Now we'll hear from Ms. Donna Stevenson, Ms. Stevenson? You're on mute, Ms. Stevenson. Can you,
I'm sorry. I apologize for
Okay.
being on.
we can hear you now.
Okay,
Would you
my
give-
name,
Please, and tell us what you'd like us to know.
Terrell is my son, my firstborn that I had at 17. I was a senior in high school. This time when Terrell came home, my son, he really tried to show himself approved. Going out looking for a job. I preach constantly about being responsible. I'm big on credit. I know you guys probably read my letter, but I don't want to see my son in prison. I have 3 kids. My kids look up to my son. He's the eldest of the 3. There's so much more to life than being behind bars. He really was trying to prove himself to me as well as to himself. He got a job. He was really consistent on it. He loved it. They wanted to promote him as manager. He bought himself a truck. I'm being held responsible now. I'm paying that car note on it. He has responsibility and he still has a lot more of work and proving himself to do, to get out here and just continue to do the things he was doing. He was trying to get out and to actually buy himself a house. I signed him up to do home buyers class. I just want to see him go forth. I mean, like I said, I have 3 kids. One of them is in nursing school. Before he went in there, we just attended her pinning ceremony and he cried like crazy seeing his sister get a pinning ceremony. We missed her first graduation due to COVID. And I have another one who's in flight school. So, I mean, he comes from good stock. I'm asking on behalf as his mother. I didn't raise my son to be where he's at right now, and none of us have. I've instilled good values in my boy. I love him to death. I want him to come home and continue to thrive in life, to succeed and be a productive citizen, be able to reestablish his voting rights. As a mother of a Black man, and my son is a man, I understand the situation why he's in there, but the life we're living in today's time, I just want to see my children go forth. And I mean that on behalf of a lot of mothers. We see so much in the news where we're losing our children, and I don't want to be that mom that loses my son or be another mother to lose another child. I want my son to come home, live, do right, pray his homage to God, and do right by himself. There's a big world out here, and a part of it he deserves. We all deserve.
Thank you very much, Ms. Stevenson. We appreciate your comments. He's very lucky to have you as his mother.
Thank you.
Ms. Matthews, do you want to close after Mr. Weaver gives his final statement, or do you want to speak now?
I can speak now. I have a few words. I don't want to take up a lot of space, but I've represented Mr. Weaver since he's been incarcerated, and every time I've met with him, he's been very consistent with what he says and what he wants to do. If and when he's released his job, he's been at Copper Vine. His former employer has written a letter. But more than that, I think Mr. Weaver has learned a lot from this past arrest, and to address, any future circumstances that may arise. He's promised not to see Miss Dew anymore and not interact with her, but also learn by taking an anger management course or a violence intervention program as a condition of his parole. He's more than willing to do that. And pay his missed payments.
Thank you very much, Ms. Matthews. We appreciate your comments. Mr. Weaver, is there anything you'd like to say to the board before the board votes?
If y'all can find it in y'all heart to give me another chance, I ain't gonna let y'all down.
Thank you, Mr. Weaver. Kind of ready to vote?
Yes, I'm ready to vote.
Ms. Wise?
Mr. Weaver, I was very, very concerned. I want you to know you did a good job today. You presented well, and I believe you told the truth today about that scenario. When I watched the video, both of y'all were saying, and I appreciate your honesty. That really made a difference in my decision. My vote is to do not, I do find you guilty of the allegation. Again, you should conduct yourself in such a way that the police do not have to be called when you're on parole. Just remember that.
Yes, ma'am.
So I do find you guilty of the allegations, but my vote is to do not revoke, return you to supervision, complete a 26-week domestic abuse battery class. It's going to teach you a whole lot of stuff about relationships, anger management, all this included in that. Get with your parole officer and they will help you find that class. No contact with the victims, no contact with the victim whatsoever. If she calls, don't answer. And as a sidebar, I want to state, get involved in a Sunday school class. Start going to Sunday school. Best wishes to you, sir.
Thank you, Ms. Wise. Ms. Jackson.
All right, my vote is the same, do not revoke, return to supervision, same condition.
Mr. Weaver, you have 2 votes to return you to supervision. I want to be real honest with you. When I read your file, I probably wouldn't have voted the way I'm about to vote. You did a very good job. You're a very honest young man. Appreciate your honesty. Your mother is tremendous support for you. You've been trying to do the right thing. You found yourself in a situation where you lost it. And hopefully this DBOC program that you go through will help you. So my vote likewise is not to revoke, to return you to supervision with the condition that you complete the 26-day DBOC program and have no contact whatsoever with the victims. So good luck to you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all.